Welcome to the Online Course Masters Show, where we learn from the best online course creators how to better create and sell our very own courses. I'm your host, Phil Ebner, and today I have an exciting episode featuring Joe Parys, a six-figure online course creator. This is a little bit of a different episode. Joe actually asked me to be on his podcast, and we agreed that he could ask me questions and then he could also respond. So he's actually going to ask me what it takes to become a six-figure course creator, and he's going to give his insight too. Visit onlinecoursemasters.com for show notes to watch the video version of this episode and see an archive of all our past guests. Please subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen. The one thing you can do for me is leave a review for the show, which helps us expand to an even larger audience. Thanks, and let's get straight to the interview.
Hi everyone, Joe Parys here, and today I have a very special guest with me. Today we're going to be talking about how to become a six-figure online instructor, and who better than Phil Ebner, who actually was somebody who inspired me to start teaching online and has definitely crossed the six-figure mark and beyond. So I just wanted to get started here and really dive right into a few questions with Phil, and hopefully there's an incredible amount of information that you're going to be learning from an expert and somebody who was kind of a little bit of a mentor to me. And I know that I crossed the six-figure as an instructor not too long ago myself, and it was a huge hurdle. It was absolutely incredible. So Phil, I just wanted to say thank you so much for being on, and let's go ahead and rock and roll. So the first question I got for you, Phil, is when did you get started teaching online? And what was your kind of motivation / how did you get started? So go ahead and just share as much as you can. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is exciting for me to be on your show, and also for people listening to the Online Course Masters show to have Joe, who's an amazing instructor. So hopefully we'll both be able to bounce off each other and give some great tips. But I started teaching online back in 2012, which makes me kind of an old guy in this industry in terms of at least the Udemy, Skillshare, sort of the new online course world. There have been online courses for a long time, and still today, I think a lot of people think of an online course as that boring, hard to use course that you took during college, and colleges are still putting out those courses. But now with Udemy and Skillshare, anyone can teach. And obviously people listening to your show or my show know this. But back in 2012, I was working full time as a video editor at a school. And this was a couple years out of college. I was in a lot of student loan debt, always trying to look for ways to make extra money. I was working full time. I had a side business doing wedding videography on the weekends. And during the weeknights, I was just trying to figure out other ways to make money. And I stumbled across Pat Flynn somehow. And I got this idea of maybe writing an ebook. And I was going to write this. I had actually during college written out some journal entries with this idea in mind of doing like a diary of a film student, sort of like the journey of a film student in college. And right. I was taking that and I was thinking about putting it together as an ebook. But then I stumbled across Udemy while I was researching online education for the school that I was working for, because they were thinking about doing their own online courses. And I thought the platform was awesome. And just the fact that anyone could create an online course really seemed really awesome, but I didn't expect anything from it. And at that time, I hadn't seen like proof that other instructors had made money from it. Now, if you're a new instructor and you hear about Udemy and you search a little bit online, you see people who are making serious cash from Udemy. But
six figures and beyond, right?
Yeah, six figures and beyond. I mean, seven figures for some people if you're lucky and work hard. But back then there was no proof, but still I was like, hey, I'll try this. And my background was video production, so I knew how to do video editing and record. And so that was my leg up. I didn't have any experience teaching. I didn't have any audience that I could sell to, but I did have that experience. So I put together my first course, and it was on video editing in a particular program, and I put it on Udemy and launched it. I can't even remember how I promoted it. I think I went to some blogs or Google Plus groups, maybe Facebook groups, and posted links or maybe some free links to it. And I ended up making $62 in that first month. And that it was the first time I'd made money online. It was the first time I'd made money with a product of mine, not like a service of like doing video editing or video work. And
Sure.
that just sparked my interest in this, and I caught the bug, and now I'm addicted to creating courses.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it can be addicting in a good way. And that's an awesome story. I know that my own story is kind of similar, and I don't know if you want me to share it.
Yeah, share your story.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just kind of answer that same question of like, when did I get started, and how did I get started? And I got started in the beginning of January of 2015. So it's literally been 2 years and I think a week today. And I was on Facebook. And I remember I was teaching in the classroom. I had like a free period. I was just on Facebook, just kind of like messing around. I was like, all right, I got a couple of minutes here. And I saw an ad from Udemy, and I don't know, I just clicked on it and I saw all these online courses. And for those who maybe are not aware or not, but I used to teach high school history and psychology and coach basketball. So I have a degree in education, and that's kind of how I got started too. Is I kind of fell into it naturally. I kind of had the teaching degree, and I really just love sharing and just kind of teaching. So I found Udemy, and I saw right away that there were all these courses, and there's thousands of students and hundreds of dollars for the course. So the quick math was $200 times 1,000 is lots of money. So I'm like, wait a minute, this is interesting. How does this work? And I signed up for an account, and I think I like enrolled in a free course or two, but nothing super serious. And then what got me was Udemy sent out a promotional email, and it was for some of their best-selling courses. And one of the instructors, who's no longer on the website, his name was Alan Hill, had his course on how I make like $4,000 a week teaching online. And for me, I was like, all right, is this like a gimmick? Is this kind of like, something that's true, not true? It was enough for me to look at it and invest. I think it was $10 is what I had to spend. The course was normally $200. So I was like, $10, like, all right, I'm in education, like, let's do it. So I did it, took extensive notes, like really, really just like dove into the course. And it intrigued me enough to create my own. And I started with goal setting. And I think it was just because I was passionate about goal setting. And I just saw in the personal development area of Udemy that there was people doing personal development stuff. And I don't know, I just kind of liked that. And so I created my course on goal setting. I applied some of his techniques, which was to give your course away for free. And I did that right away because I didn't have a following. I had no, YouTube channel. I had no Instagram, Facebook, nothing. I mean, complete scratch. No one really knew about me. And so I'm just like, well, here I am, share. And I had like 800 people to I think it was 1,000 enroll overnight. And that was awesome. I was like so excited. I was like, oh my gosh. And I was getting like reviews, and people were like, this is great. And then I had a couple of negative ones, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is brutal. But I learned so much. And from there, it's grown to 60 something courses now, 64, and more than 200,000 students. And I think you have more than that as well. And it's amazing to look at how much it's snowballed in 2 years. But that's how I got started, from complete scratch, just like you. I made, and then I made my first sale from like posting in a Facebook group for like $1. Like back in the day, you could do $1 coupon. So I was just like, let's throw $1 and see what happens. And someone bought it. And I remember like getting so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, someone paid money for my course. Like, this is crazy. And
I still feel like that. I'm still like, man, people pay for my courses, and at the end of the day, the reviews, people only buy my courses mostly because the reviews are good for my courses. But it still amazes me that so many people buy my courses, and I couldn't keep doing this if I didn't get like reviews or messages from students who appreciate my courses. Because if I didn't know if my students were actually learning or actually appreciating the courses, I would feel like, man, I still feel like I don't know if I would buy my own courses sometimes, even though I know I am a solid teacher now, especially those earlier courses. I look back and I'm like, oh gosh, I should just take those down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complete learning process, but the feedback from the students and the review systems are very, very helpful to the instructors. So, yeah, great, Phil. I really appreciate that question. Let's dive into number 2 here, and it's a little bit more relevant. have you hit any new milestones recently? And how has the start of 2017 been for you? Because today is January 31st and we're about to roll over into February. It's amazing how fast this first month has flown by. But yeah, any new milestones, and how's 2017 started off for you?
Yeah. So, well, first I'll say my biggest milestone, which I've been, waiting on the Udemy speedometer to see, was turning over to $500,000 in net revenue across all of my courses. So
That's amazing.
it's just amazing. You are on a rapid pace of creating courses, and I think your exponential growth is actually faster than mine. So I think you're going to hit this number even quicker than I have. But in less than, or just about 4 years, this is, I could have never done this with any other job or path that I enjoyed. There's lots of other ways to make money. There's different career paths that I could have chosen. But to make this amount of money sharing my knowledge and creating videos and doing something that I think actually helps the world is just amazing. So that's what that's my biggest milestone. And what's crazy about that is, like, this has taken 4 years. Like, who knows? Like, I could make $1 million from creating and selling online courses on Udemy in the next maybe few years. And that's my next goal. That's like what I have my sights on. And it's not just about the money, but that's like, it's a business now. It's a full-time business for me now. So I got to set my sights high. But this reminds me of something you said about when you first go onto Udemy, you see these classes and you're doing the math in your head and you're like, this guy has a class with 20,000 students and he's selling it for $100. All these teachers must be millionaires. And I actually got a message from a student recently, like a week ago. And it was actually kind of disheartening because he was a little upset. He was like, how come you claim you've only made $300,000? This was in an old class of mine. And I look at your numbers and you should be like making 4 million. Is this a scam? And I felt weird, but I had to explain to him, Udemy, it just doesn't work that way. And if you ask any Udemy instructor, it's a mass sales game. It's not about selling premium courses for premium prices. It's about selling hopefully high quality courses for a cheaper amount, averaging around $10 to $20. So that was a little tangent, but but still, that being said, I've netted 500,000 in revenue on Udemy, and January has just been huge. It's every year I kind of gauge how the year's going to go based off of the previous Black Friday, November sales. And then last year, January was really huge. So I was hoping that this January was going to be big too. And I did have my best month ever this January. I passed $50,000 on Udemy. And nice. just in the past 3 months alone, I've actually earned over 6 figures, which is just insane. And so I couldn't do it without my students.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, every year when this happens on November or January, where I have my best month ever, I'm like, can next year really be better than this year? And that's the goal, though, just to keep creating more and more courses, better courses, updating old courses, and also expanding my audience off of Udemy to drive traffic to my courses. And so that's my goal this year. I got, $1 million in sight for the long term. And then just this year, I want to, try to make it so next Black Friday and next January, I have my best months ever. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, I don't know. What about you? I know, you started a few years after me, but what are any big milestones this past year and any plans for the next, this year coming up?
Yeah. So the biggest milestone happened at the end of November, which was crossing the 6-figure mark on Udemy. And I set that goal for myself at the beginning of the year of 2016. And my first year on Udemy, I think I earned right around like 22,000, somewhere around there. And I really wanted to get to 6 figures. So that was right around like 4 times the amount that I was giving myself in the year. And we passed it and then some. On top of like Black Friday, we definitely went over the hill. So that was awesome. So that was a huge milestone. And it just really got me thinking, if, You can get to 100, you can get to 500, you can get to 500, you can get to 1 million, man. So it's just, it's where your mind's at for sure. And it's really inspiring to talk to other people who, like you, have even taken it to a whole nother level. So that's really hopefully something that the people that are listening for on my end and on your end will be able to get kind of a yin and yang here to see, Phil's at, this level a couple of years ahead of Joe, and here's where Joe's at. It's interesting to see, where they'll both be 5 years from now. And I think that's what's really exciting. Another thing for 2017 to start the year, this has been my best month ever as well.
Nice.
Yeah, it was, I think I'm going to be right around 14,000 from Udemy alone. And I think it was like 13 and change for Black Friday. So we're about 1,000 more. And I haven't even looked because I sent out a promotional email. So it's going to be trickling in here the rest of today. So that's great. I did launch a new course in the beginning of the month, and I got a couple more coming out on top of this 6-figure online masterclass program, this 8-week thing that I've been building out, and I'm really, really excited about that. So it's been a lot, but as we both have done, which I think is really cool, is we both dedicated ourselves to this business. We both do our thing full time, and it needs our attention. It really does. But the benefits are definitely there. The freedom, the lifestyle, everything is incredible. So I can't be more happy here in 2017 to start the year off. And things really seem to be rolling for the both of us. So
well, yeah. And for people listening, I think Joe and I have kind of taken a very similar path in regards to Udemy and just our course creation. Because we realized early on that it would be hard to make a ton of money, full-time income from one course or two courses. And while some people can do that on Udemy, one, if you have an audience already, or if you're just in a niche that is so hot that there's just so many people buying those courses and you could somehow kind of become a bestseller in that category, yes, you can make lots of money. I mean, Rob Percival is an example of this, who has made millions of dollars, mostly due to one course. Now he has a bunch of courses and he's making many millions probably. But for Joe and I, the game has always been, and I don't want to discount, it's not a game, because it's really a business and it's really about, teaching and helping other people. But the way that this business works is to create lots of courses and to be able to grow our audience on Udemy and cross promote our courses to our audience on Udemy. Now, there's lots of people who argue whether building your audience on Udemy is a good thing or a bad thing, or promoting your courses on Udemy versus your own platform is a good thing or a bad thing. And who knows? I always kind of think if Udemy can last a few more months, I'll be happy. I think it will, and I have a feeling that's going to last for a few more years at least, and hopefully many, many, many more years. But at least for now, Udemy is what's working. And, you just heard Joe hit 14,000 and I passed over 50,000 this month. So Udemy is working, and why should I, at least right now, disregard that? Yes, it's important to build your audience on your own platform to have more control in the long run. But right now, in the short term, Udemy is what's working best. And that's why we focus on Udemy. And that's, I think, why we're quite successful on Udemy too.
Absolutely. And I think that leads us into our next question, which is, if you had any one tip for a brand new instructor listening, somebody who maybe has never really heard of Udemy, has never created their very first online course, has zero experience, because I know we were both in that same boat. If there's just one kind of little bit of advice that you could kind of share, I think that'd be really great.
This is a good question. I mean, there's so many things specifically about how to create a good course versus a bad course that I could talk about. But I think the biggest thing is kind of related to what I was talking about, realizing that a lot of people will have success with lots of courses, or you'll have more success with lots of courses. And so you need to strategize your course creation based off of that premise. And one good way to do that is to pick a niche that potentially has a large audience and start creating courses, your very first courses, that are geared to the largest audience possible. And one thing is creating beginner versus advanced courses. People ask me about which is better. there's generally more people interested in beginner courses than the advanced courses. So for your first courses, say you're very skilled at some sort of computer programming or playing tennis or playing guitar or whatever it is, if you're very advanced, the first course you want to teach probably isn't an advanced course or even an intermediate course in that subject. You want a course that's geared towards the beginner, that you can build a funnel with the mass amount of students, or the biggest amount of students. And then from there, creating courses that you can cross promote to. So Joe and I are in this situation where we have courses on all kinds of subjects, and not everyone who takes one of my courses is interested in all of my other courses, but I do kind of have a theme going through all my courses. I teach Adobe products, which is video production, photography, design, photo editing. And a lot of students who take perhaps a photo editing course might be interested in video editing. And so these courses, while they're two separate niches, I can still cross promote those courses to each other. So when you're starting out, create beginner courses and plan on creating lots of courses before you actually start making a lot of money. And that's my other big tip for beginners is don't expect to make a lot of money in the beginning. Remember that I made $62 in my first month. I think my second month I made about $140. It took me probably 6 months or probably even more to make $1,000 in a single month. I think it probably took more actually. So there's a lot of people who jump into this expecting or wanting to make, a ton of money early on. But I haven't, there are some people who have done that, but that's not how I've done it. And I think for most people, it's not going to happen so easily. So those are a couple tips. Are you enjoying this episode? We hope you're learning to become a better course creator. If you want to fast track your success, get the free 7-step guide to success at onlinecoursemasters.com. Now let's get back to the show.
To kind of hit home on a couple of things, our paths have been so similar, it's kind of crazy. I started with like $40 and then I went to $125 and then I went to like $130. And it took me, I think, 6 to 8 months to cross the $1,000 mark. But for some reason, like once you hit the 1,000, it's just like away you go. And I started at probably the absolute worst time to start, which was right after the New Year's sales. So it was like I missed the New Year's sales. Black Friday and New Year's don't start for another like 9 months. And some of the slower times are definitely in the summer. So I pushed through all of that and then it just really snowballed. And the breaking point for me was making it over the $10,000 in 1 month, which was my first ever Black Friday. And I was like, this is it. Like, if I can do this, like, I can definitely, do more. And Udemy went through a little dip. So that was kind of difficult. We kind of had to rebuild, but we were able to push it back again to some good numbers for Black Friday. And then obviously having our best month here. But if there's one tip that I could give brand new instructors, somebody who's never started before, is to just get started and really don't worry so much about all the technical aspects of the filming and all that kind of stuff. Because when we both got started, and I know you even had the background in the editing of videos and you had some of this stuff, I think we could both say that we're kind of embarrassed by our very first courses.
Definitely.
But that's the good thing about it is you just got to start somewhere. And if somebody told me this, if you're actually not embarrassed by your first course, you didn't start soon enough. And I think that that's really some great advice for somebody who's completely new. Just create a video, model what we do. We obviously have some nice equipment, and in our courses, we show you exactly what we do. On both of our YouTube channels, for sure, you can see the microphones, you can see the cameras, and it is technical, and it's fun to learn. However, you can get started with some pretty basic stuff and you don't have to break the bank. And I really emphasize that to a lot of my students as well. So let's dive into our next question, which is one advanced tip, because I know we might have some listeners here who are instructors like ourselves, who are maybe trying to get to that 6-figure mark and they're just a little bit off, or they're, really kind of, growing and getting to that spot. If there's maybe like an advanced tip that we can give them to really help them get to the 6 figures and beyond, and soon to 7, as it seems. So one advanced tip would be great.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And I just want to follow up about the equipment thing you're mentioning. Is I get so many questions from students about what particular microphone, what particular camera to get. And this is my least favorite question in not only my course creation training, but also my photography courses and video courses. There's not one perfect tool for everyone's situation, because there's different budgets, and who knows what there's different paths to go on with equipment. But like Joe said, just get started with whatever you have or whatever you can. I mean, at the very basis, get a blue snowball microphone for like $50 on Amazon, and hopefully you have a laptop that you can record with, and start creating some PowerPoints or some free slideshows with Google Slides, and go from there. So that's an easy way to get started. In terms of an advanced tip, I think, I talk about the strategy for beginners, knowing, how to create beginner courses is good, and to cross promote, that's kind of like the long-term game. But in terms of how to have a successful course on Udemy, or really any marketplace right now, the key thing is to rank your course highly in the search engine. That's how you're going to get most organic sales. And if you're not getting organic sales, it means that you're only going to get sales that you promote yourself, or probably some in the big Black Friday and January sales that Udemy has, just because there's so many people, so many promotions, that people will probably find your course somehow. But in the long run, you want to have a lot of organic sales, and you do that with a highly ranked course. And to get a highly ranked course, what's working on Udemy right now is getting good reviews. And so if you go on Udemy, if you search for any topic, the ones that show up first are the ones that have a lot of reviews, and a lot of great reviews. And now this can seem a little daunting, because there's courses, both of Joe's and mine, that have been on the platform that kind of dominate a keyword, and it's hard to think that you're going to create a better course. But Udemy is consistently tweaking the search ranking algorithm, and if you do create a course that gets high ratings, then it will show up higher in the results. And so now, how do you do that? You get good ratings by having a great course early on. Like, the start of your course has to be epic. And so the way that I've changed my old courses is from, instead of long introductory videos and long explanations of who I am, I really try to actually start teaching in that very first video. And, a lot of people, you might have heard this before if you've been an instructor, and you might not think this is that advanced. And maybe it's not that advanced. It's very simple. It's a simple process, but not that many people are doing it. So in that very first video, start teaching. And especially in the first few videos, Udemy prompts people right now to leave a review after 10 minutes of watch time. So pay attention to that watch time, and watch your own course to see when the review pops up after you've launched your course, and make sure that those first few lessons are epic, and you include downloadable resources in that first section. That's something that I've done that has gotten a lot of good reviews. I'll do simple things like turning my course into a PDF, or just converting the videos to an audio MP3, and they can download the MP3 version of the course, and you get this audio version of the course that they can take with them wherever they want and learn on the go. These are things that are relatively easy for me to create, and the students find so much value in them. And if you put that in like the first or second lesson, they're like, wow, I just enrolled in this class. I get all these downloads. This is awesome. And then they get prompted to leave a review. So like, they're gonna give you a good review because they have so much value. So that's the thing. It's like great to have consistent success. You need to have courses that rank high. To have courses that rank high, you got to get good ratings. To get good ratings, you have to pack the start of your course with high value.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it sounds simple, but it is definitely way more advanced. And honestly, I didn't think of it this way, but really having all the value up front and really kind of just packing that is really smart. And in the classroom, for some of us teachers maybe who are listening, it's called the bell ringer, right? The bell goes off, ring, ring, and what happens? The kids sit down and boom, we want to get them right away, right? And then we have bell ringers. We either have questions or something to stimulate their mind because they're at recess or another class and, half asleep and, Lord knows what they're doing in the classroom now with their cell phones, right? We really want to get their attention. And what Phil just described is key. It's absolutely essential. And I think that you're absolutely right. Having that value up front is, really, really good. If I were to give an advanced technique and tip, something that's worked really well for me and my business here online with Udemy and beyond, it is to definitely be working with other instructors and being open to learning from other people and doing something just like we're doing. We're sharing information, we're bouncing ideas around, and we have a little mastermind group that tries to meet every week. And it's amazing to get new ideas, to be open to new strategies, because just by doing this with Phil, I've learned a few things. And when you learn a few things, you change a few things, and you get better results. And I think ultimately, everyone wants to get amazing results. The money is very helpful. It allows us to live the lifestyle that we want to live. I think that's where that's value is, I get to choose to wake up when I want to. I get to choose to go into the office or not go into the office. And that's what this Udemy and online teaching provides to both of us. And it's amazing. And I'm so grateful for that. But in order to sustain that and to have that, you have to have a business sense. You have to know, some advanced techniques and strategies. And the only way that you can, a way to accelerate that is to work with other people who have earned more than you, who have done more than you, who are better teachers than you. And I'm humble enough to say that even though I have education background, there are teachers that are better than me on teaching online, 100%, and they're getting better results. And that's awesome. I'm so happy for every single one of them because I know that their results and everything is just going to inspire me and hopefully inspire everyone else that takes my courses, and hopefully will take me to a whole nother level as well. So I think we're wrapping up here a little bit, and this has been wonderful. I really appreciate all your time, Phil. But if there's one little thing here that we can wrap up with, tell us a little bit more about, like, if I wanted to find out more information about you, because I know where to find you, but some of the listeners may not know exactly where to find you, how, if we had any questions, what would be the best way to reach you? And let's just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, totally. Well, this has been a blast, and I hope that we've kind of laid out a path to success, to six-figure success for people. For people who want to find out more about me, onlinecoursemasters.com is my podcast, or the show is called Online Course Masters. And so this episode, a lot of people are going to be listening to it on my show. But for people who are coming from Joe, then onlinecoursemasters.com is where you can kind of go to find out more about the podcast. And that actually takes you to my main site, videoschoolonline.com, where you can find out more information about my classes. I blog, I create YouTube videos, so you can find all those links from there. I'm really excited with the podcast. We're recording this on January 31st. I'm launching the podcast next week on February 6th. So if you're watching this after that, then onlinecoursemasters.com will be live. And in conjunction with that, I'm actually redoing my whole online course training, and I'm launching a new course. I created my first online course in 2014. Actually, no, the end of 2013. And back then I thought I knew a lot, and now I've learned a lot more. And so I'm rebooting that whole thing so people can also find out more information about that there at onlinecoursemasters.com. So that's pretty much where I want to send people. But what about you, Joe? You mentioned something about an 8-week training program. Is this on your own site or is this through Udemy?
Yeah, this is going to be my own site. And in fact, I've actually created a Facebook group called Become a Six-Figure Online Instructor. It's absolutely free. You do have to apply to get into the group. And I'm constantly getting people every day. I think there's more than 450, 500 people and growing. And the goal of the group is to get as many people to six figures and beyond. And I'm constantly creating new YouTube videos. I'm really trying to push my YouTube channel, which is just Joe Parys. You can find multiple videos on how to become a six-figure online instructor. And hopefully it just kind of gives clarity to people who are in the group and what the main kind of goal is. And in the group, we have multiple people who are already six-figure online instructors and beyond. Phil's a part of the group, and I'm just trying to do my absolute best to give as much value in the group. And from there, if you're really wanting to take things to a whole new level, I'm in the process of creating an 8-week program where you get to work with me personally, and I take you through all the steps. We have one-on-one calls. It's definitely a program that is going to be something that I'm really excited about. But with my time, energy, and effort and everything, it's going to be a little bit of a higher ticket sell. But overall, I'm really excited about this whole new venture because it's something I've never done. And it's something that I think a lot of people are interested in, because in our courses, we get this all the time. What microphones? How are you doing this? Who are you working with? And almost every day, I get somebody either wanting to work with me or wanting to create a course with me. And so I'm really trying to compile all of this and put it all into one spot. And there's only, there's 200,000 some students that I have. And I was looking at, I don't know if I can serve everyone every minute of every day. It's just impossible. So I really wanted to create a program where you get my full attention. And there's going to be a lot of value in that for everyone. And the goal of that program is to take you to six figures and beyond. And you can do it. I know you can, because I've done it. And, I think if we look at our own experience, there's nothing a whole lot special that we did. When you really think back at it, it's like, oh, what was the special, like the magic ingredient? Yeah. I think if there ever was a magic ingredient, it was just kind of persistence, and it just kind of keep happening. So you can find me there. So the Facebook group is a great spot. My website, www.joeparys.com. You can find all my online courses there. You can find out more information about the six-figure online instructor group, and the program itself. And then my YouTube channel, which is Joe Parys. I'm really trying to drive more traffic there. There's tons of free information and free previews to my online courses, new videos. So if you ever want to see like new videos of what I'm doing, where I'm at, and like I just bought a whole bunch of new camera equipment. I'm going to be in Miami here in a few weeks, and I like to travel and get out and share my experiences of traveling and kind of doing some vlog stuff. But also I want to tailor it more towards still tips to become a six-figure online instructor, and kind of inspire people with the lifestyle. Because I know, Phil, you live in California, and I see pictures of you all over the place in San Francisco. You're taking pictures and doing some amazing stuff in the mountains, and all over the place. And it's amazing. It's an incredible lifestyle. So I want to share that on YouTube as well as Facebook and in my videos. So that's where you can definitely be, and you can reach us both. Obviously on udemy.com, you can find all of our courses there. But go ahead, man.
I just wanted to add something, because I know a lot of people, one thing is they hear, people like us talking about online courses and teaching people how to create online courses. I think one thing that I'm proud about, and what I think is the same with you, is that at least 95% of my income comes from courses where I'm actually teaching people skills like how to do video production, how to take better photos, how to do photo editing. And so for people who are listening to this or come into this and think, well, you can only make money with online courses, teaching other people how to make online courses, or how to make money blogging, or how to make money on YouTube, or whatever it is, it's just not true. And Joe and I think, are hopefully helping the world become a better place, teaching people actual skills. And that's why we're creating these programs ourselves, with Joe's six-figure program, his online Facebook group, my podcast. Everything is to give back and to teach people how to do this the right way, the legitimate way. And it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. And we want to be upfront about that, but we also want to help you learn from our mistakes and the best strategies that we have, so that you can become a six-figure instructor faster than we did. So I just wanted to kind of add that, because I know some people might be listening to this and being like, these guys are just talking about making money and they're teaching people how to make money, but it's just not how we've made our success.
100%. And one thing that I think with both of the programs, which is really important to emphasize, is having a mentor and how valuable that is. Because, you said that when you got started, you were looking at, I forgot the name, but you had a little bit of a mentor, right? And you're like, oh, this other person's kind of doing it a little bit. I had you and also, who was it? Alan Hill a little bit, and a few other people as well. And having a mentor and being around somebody who's doing what you want to do, like there is no amount of money in the world that can really exchange the value that way. I mean, it's just so valuable. So we do truly give back, and our reviews, our testimonials, everything that we've done, I definitely think reflects that. We're not here to scam people and, to get rich and do all that kind of stuff. And I definitely think that we have done it the right way 100%. And our students and all the other testimonials and things definitely speak for that. So thanks, Phil. I really appreciate having you on here. It's been really great. And again, if you guys ever have any questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than willing to help. But do remember that we are serving hundreds of thousands of people. And if we don't get directly to you right away, it's not personal. We are both very busy and we get messages all the time. So I guess that's the last little bit.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks so much. It was a pleasure being on, and thanks for letting me use this for my podcast as well.
Absolutely. Take care, guys. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, there's no better way to learn how to create and sell online courses than heading over to onlinecoursemasters.com and downloading your free 7-step guide to success. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the show wherever you listen and make sure to leave a rating. If you do, I might even read it on a future show. Help us reach our first 100 ratings. It'll just take 1 extra minute of your time. Thanks, have a beautiful day, and we'll see you next week on the next episode.